It's Persona time! Well, actually, Shin Megami Tensei. Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Figma SP-105 Pixie from Shin Megami Tensei. Well, like a common enemy in all the games. I mean, Shin Megami Tensei. Persona is basically a spin-off of it, but from the entire universe, this is one of the, well, sometimes the enemies, sometimes the familiars that help you. It really depends, but this is a reoccurring character through all the lines of Shin Megami Tensei, and Persona, and whatnot. And there's the figure, now finally. And since I've been recently in the Persona loop, when she popped up at Ami, I said, alright, I want to get her. It's a simple design, but it looks cool. There's a couple of things, like with the wings over here, that I also wanted to have a look how bad it is, or like how good it is, or like, I mean, some things look kind of wonky, so without further ado, I want to have a look at the figure. So there's a little bit of assembly required. I mean, I put the rings right on because, I mean, it's just, I'm not going to keep that until the end. I want to give you a nice overlook of the figure as she's supposed to look. Let's have a look at the size real quick. She stands at about 13.5 centimeters, a little shy of 5.5 inches tall, and I guess the wingspan is, let's see, that's about a little over 15 centimeters, 6 inches. And I mean, you can move the wings around, but I think that's about as much. I don't want to do it too much because it's super frail. This material, I'm just gonna tell you right away, the material of the wings is extremely frail and I barely want to touch it. Now let's have a look at the face real quick. The Persona Shin Megami Tensei figures. I mean, the design overall is very unique with the eyes and the big lips. There's a little bit of a problem with the lips over there. That's not, the paint didn't really go through all the way. Speaking of paint issues, there's a lot of paint bleeding in the red hair on the sides. Let's see. Looks better on the other side, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Also, there's a color difference in the red. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that. I mean, it looks good. It's more like a brighter red on the side and goes more into a darker red on the top. Now, speaking of paint issues, the wings. And that's also a reason why I immediately put them on. There's a lot more paint bleeding going on the side over here. This line that is not completely on that is somewhat forgivable, but as you turn around, this is not forgivable. And this is just ugly. And I don't even know what this is. A simple figure. You really don't have to do that much. It's a simple mold. And I really expected them to come through with just making great paint also, but they didn't. Got some more black in the collars and armbands, and I really like the metallic kind of blue purplish going on. I'm a fan of that, and as I said, yeah, there's not really that much detail to speak of. It is simple, it's a very basic body, but it looks cool if, you know, you make your paint right. So this is really nicely done. This is molded on and nicely painted on down to the tippy toes. And yeah, I mean, overall she looks good with some horrible paint decisions. So moving over to the articulation, I want to start off at the wings. I barely want to touch this, so you really got to be slow and careful. You have the backpack over here, which I don't really know. Was this really necessary? Couldn't you just have packed the ball hinges into the back without doing this? The articulation of it, since it's packed in at the jetpack part, I'm guessing I'm calling it, you can rotate it around like that, but be very careful because, okay, I hope I can reattach that. That's one part. And then since it's ball hinges, you can rotate it around up here, and you can rotate the wing around. Try doing that sometimes without rotating everything around is tricky. So the articulation of the wings is very nice, and the lower wing part is just packed in so you can move that up and down. And yes, I really love the color variation. I feel like I didn't have a good look at the wings because I'm afraid to even look at them. Just don't break off, alright? But anyway, yeah, this looks very nice. You have like the blue goes over into the green, and it's a lot brighter down there, so that's fine. Okay. Head articulation goes forward nicely, has a bunch of room, goes back also okay, and it does tilt to the side and goes all the way around. You got the double ball combination in the shoulder, so you have the ball in the chest area, which you can rotate around, and another ball on a hinge on the shoulder itself goes up 45 degrees, a little over it actually, and you can rotate it around on the ball joint, giving you the bicep swivel. Basically, there you go, without the ball joint rotating. Simple hinge in the elbow and another ball hinge in the hand. Can move that back and forth and rotate it around. Now for the chest articulation, goes back and forth, goes side to side, and wriggles around. It is nicely done, doesn't leave any gaps. So for the torso articulation, it does wiggle side to side, does go forward nicely, it does go to the back, leaves a little bit of a gap. So for the leg articulation, it does move out to the side, and this is not really soft plastic. I think it is, but it's probably the mold of the leg goes all the way in there. So yeah, it does move out of the way a little bit, and it's just on a ball, so you can also rotate it around. Doesn't really go to the back that much because of the butt. We have a swivel in the knee sock, stocking, boot, whatever it is, and then a simple hinge in the knee and the foot. You can rotate it to the side a little bit, and it does go forward and back. And you have a toe hinge, which doesn't really accomplish that much. It's pretty limited, but it also goes down, I think, yeah. It's one of those weird down hinges. Hinges. And for the accessories, there's really not much else left anyway. I mean, you have the wings, obviously, and then you got one more face, which he just looks to the side, doesn't really have an expression. I mean, that's... I don't know, I would have liked an expression, but then again, she doesn't really have that much in the game. But it depends. There's so many versions of her. I think she has been in the very first Shin Megami Tensei and all the personas and whatnot, so that's probably like 10, 20 games. Anyway, you got fist hands, you got holding hands. This one just kind of can put something in there, even though she doesn't have anything, and the pointy finger, and that's it. It's really basic, and then of course the base and the Figma back, and that already wraps up the accessories. So that's gonna do it. That's gonna bring me to the final thoughts. What do I think about this figure? And getting her into the pose and now looking at it, it's a nice piece overall. But it comes with a couple of problems. So first and foremost, we've seen the ugly paint issues in the hair and especially in the wings. Obviously, you're not gonna see that unless you're gonna have a pose in the back, but it's still there, so, you know, minus points for that. The rest of the figure does look nice. She is simple, and she also has quality control issue, which I really just noticed when I'm putting in the pose. You have a bit of a line here. I don't know if you see that on the camera, but there's a bit of a line with the paint smudge, probably where the crotch piece was on it in the box and it left a line. So that's also not cool. So overall, what do I think about this figure? I think she looks great. I think they really captured the look of the games very nicely. I mean, at least for the recent ones, because again, she's been through a couple transformations. But anyway, she looks great. But there's not a lot of accessories. But the really important point is the price point, as she's a little bit cheaper as the regular Figmas, but she still clocks in at around 40 bucks, maybe even a little bit more. But anyway, meaning it's a simple figure, but not really anything that's totally worth the 40 bucks. So there you go. Again, if it's worth to you, if you like the design, go ahead and get it. But for everybody else, easy skip. Let's hope for new Persona figures. I mean, Honest coming, Fox, and you know, whatever. Before I ramble even more, I'm just gonna end this one. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, gameplay stuff, and whatever Pixie wants.